In this video, we are revisiting Secrets Tides in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
And also in this video, we'll share with you what's new, what's different, and what remains the same. So stick around to hear from us about our 3 ups and our 3 downs to see if this resort is still worth a second time around.
Welcome to Chasing Sun, Sand, and Sea. And although we're new to this channel, we are not new to the YouTube community.
That's right. We're actually RV content creators, better known as the Concrete Camper.
And I'm the Concrete Glamper.
And you can also find us at Southern Ethos Life. This is where we cover all kind of RV content and our reviews of campgrounds. But that's not what this channel's for.
Here, we want to focus on travel outside the campground. So what you can expect to find is experiences around weekend adventures, resort travel, and as I like to say, everything in between.
Welcome to Punta Cana. The local time is 11:05. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and your carry-on items stowed until the captain has turned off the seatbelt signs.
Thank you.
First, yes. The big box. All right, thank you.
Oh, it smells yummy. It is. Oh yeah, I love it. Hola.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
This is not our first time visiting the Secrets Tides. We actually went back in September, and we really did enjoy that. We went for our first time to enjoy for our birthdays, and we decided we had some extra time. We had another opportunity to take some time away from work, so we said, why not? We'll go back. So
we visited in May of this year, 2025, and I would say out the gate, it was like a nice exhale and welcome home. And so we won't share with you all the details and the extensive walk around of the resort because we've already done that. And so we will link that video here. But I think it would be a great time for us just to kind of chat of like things that caught our eye, and what's different, what's the same. And the way that we typically like to do that is through 3 ups and 3 downs.
So we'll start with the ups, right? I want to start on a positive note.
Absolutely.
So, what was your first?
I think just off the bat, the staff and the friendliness of everyone was consistent. It was a warm, they love to say, welcome home, welcome back home. And, sometimes that can get cliche, but it really did feel like the staff was just really friendly. And I think that really adds overall to the experience while you're there.
Yeah. And every time you ask someone, how are you today? It's excelente. Everything's excelente. So they do allow you to enjoy yourself and be on vacation, and they really are there to support you. You also have to be very thankful for them and their attitudes toward it. So excellent service.
I think a good example of that is George. He's one of the butlers there. He was not
Shout out George.
Hi, George. He was not our butler this time around, but we saw him very casually walking down when we were out and about. He remembered us, and he immediately was like greeted us with such excitement and such enthusiasm, and we just had an opportunity just to catch up really quickly. And what I really enjoyed is like throughout our visit there, there were times just again very off the cuff, authentic. When he was doing other things or in between, he would see us, make sure that we were doing okay. A couple times we asked a question, he would refer us to other staff. But it's just, I think that was just a really good touch, that it wasn't us telling them in advance, hey, we're Mekka and Reggie, we came here before. It was very genuine in that we saw him just walking through the property. He remembered us, and that was just a really great interaction. I think that is a really good example of the staff and, how memorable and how they work really hard to make you feel welcome there.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Number 2 for me would be the continued visitor experience. And this time around, I think that they did a lot of small touches to make things better. A great example of that, I would say, was around the beach and the pool areas.
Yeah, and this was the first time we got the experience actually being on the beach with a bar. A bar was footsteps, literally footsteps on the beach away, which was awesome. I don't recall that being available.
No, that was new. We were there again September of 2024, and so that was definitely a new touch. And it was just small things, because previously either you had to wait on staff and sometimes it wasn't that they weren't attentive. It's just sometimes you may want to know water in that moment, or you have to wait. And so it was just great to have the option of, okay, you can either wait on service, or you could go to a bar that was already set up, footsteps from where you were seated at.
Right, because we had a bar to the right of us. There were servers, to your point. They would come down and check on us. And then you also could go up to the bar by the pool. There's restrooms and everything in that area. So you had 3 options to get some type of libation or refreshment for you. But the fact that there was one directly next to us just made a world of difference. So
absolutely,
really enjoyed that.
And then along those lines, also they had a new setup at the beach where it was kind of like an Airstream setup, where it was another hot food option. Previously, there was just the one option where it was open air and more of a buffet style. For hot food options, which sometimes weren't ideal because of the bugs. But this time they had that Airstream where you could go up, you can order, I think it was like hamburgers.
Yeah, hamburgers, hot dogs, almost kind of like bar food-ish, but it was hot and it was pretty good. I mean, it was fresh. It was like a food truck experience.
Exactly, cooked to order. And again, it allowed you to, because the weather was fantastic. And so if you did want to have to, you're wet, if you don't want to have to put clothes on and then march up to the buffet or one of the restaurants, but you just wanted a quick bite to eat, I thought that was a really nice touch that they added.
And when did they open this?
It opened in 2024. So I think we're at that 1.5 year mark.
Yeah, because we've been to other resorts that are newer, a couple years old, and you can start to see the wear and tear. I would say Secrets Tides is doing an outstanding job of keeping it up, right?
Agreed.
it was clean. Our room was clean. The balconies were clean, and the furniture and everything. It seems like you're turning it over appropriately to keep it fresh, to keep it updated. So kudos to you guys for please continue to do that.
Yes, because we understand how hard it is being down by the beach, the water, the salt air, and then just resorts in general. But I will say the cleanliness, from the smells to the look of things, definitely still A++. And that manicured experience, which we like. This is definitely that manicured resort. Grass is impeccable. Yeah. Things are weeded and treated. This is not that authentic, natural experience. If that's what you're looking for, this is not the place. We're not looking for that when we go on vacation.
Right.
We're looking for that manicured experience. And I think that also helps with like the bugs. I mean, you still have bugs, things, but it just keeps things at bay. Things aren't overgrown. It's just pretty, so photogenic, and all the things.
They seem to work around the clock, like during the day. And I found this quite interesting. One of the young men that was working there was actually hand trimming and hand edging.
Oh yeah,
hand edging the grass.
With a machete.
With a machete, mm-hmm. And I'd assume A, to keep the noise down, mm-hmm. but B, to be very precise and particular. Yes, they had mowers at the top, but this was around, I think, where the villas were, where mm-hmm. people were staying. So just that kind of thought process. That's a lot of manual work. Hats off to you, my man. But that is the kind of thought process that I can appreciate, that you don't want to necessarily early in the morning disturb your guests, mm-hmm. With a loud edger, and making that type of noise. So again, hats off to you, Ty, Secrets and Tides. I mean, that's thoughtful. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right. So you want to transition to our 3 downs?
Yeah. Everything can't be roses, y'all. It cannot.
And again, our 3 downs is nothing that would not, make us come back again for a third time. Right. But I would say this time the vendors on the beach, not that they were aggressive, it was just continuous.
Yeah. There was just numerous types of vendors. And the thing is, they will move on, but it just seemed like Mekka said, it was constant. Mm-hmm. You had exotic animals, you had people selling tobacco, cigars, massages,
bracelets,
artwork,
coconut water.
Yeah.
And so if you're out at the beach, you stay long enough because, we're beach people. So we stay out for hours on end, and then the rotation come. I think by a couple days, they got to know your face and know like, hey. And I get it, because while we were like, no, there were people all around us that were doing the massages, that, were buying the artwork, that were taking the pictures. Mm-hmm. Just for us, again, from our preference, it just got to be a little bit annoying occasionally. And if there was if there's a system to kind of work it out, that would be great. I don't know what that system is, but just this time around, it was much more noticeable. Mm-hmm. And perhaps because we went this time in May, which is more within the beginning of the season, and
Correct.
The last time we went in September, which is on the tail end, and they know perhaps there's a difference in the folks that are there for vacation at those type of seasons. I don't know. But again, those vendors, I would say, was one of our downs.
Yeah.
I would say number 2 perhaps is the towels.
Yeah.
Again, it's more of a knit. We just ran into a situation where, again, May, because of the time of year, towels were never an issue. This time around, if we stayed at the beach and then like mid-afternoon, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, if we wanted to transition to a pool, it just seemed like it was much more harder to find fresh towels. They provided them to us, but they had to go and find them, versus you having a cart, you can self-serve yourself and not having to wait and just grab and go. Right. Whether it was the beach or at the pool.
And they were pretty diligent about, around like 5:30, you'd see them picking up the towels and taking the towels away. So, I get it. At some point you gotta call it and say, hey, we gotta start getting ready for the next day. But, again, a small nitpick. We never went without a towel. Don't
Correct.
get us wrong.
Mhm.
There were towels available if you went out in the morning, or even if you came back in the noon or afternoon.
And then third nit, I would say, was late eating and the impact that the music had from the entertainment. And what I mean by that, they have an open air theater, and it's flanked on each side by restaurants. On the left side, if you're basically facing the stage left is the sports bar, and on the right side it was the hibachi. And on one of those evenings we had a late seating, and they had also just started their show. And so as you can imagine, the music was so intense, and we happened to be seated by the door for the inside and outside that the servers were using. And it was just a not ideal experience. The music was just too intense. Ultimately, we ended up having to move locations.
Well, we actually moved twice, because first I wasn't clear on that we'd be sitting in a group setting at the actual hibachi.
That's not our thing. We don't.
So we were looking for just a quiet moment to have dinner together. But they have an in-case glass hibachi experience where you sit with,
very
20
popular,
of your,
by the way.
Sit with 20 of your closest friends. And so outside of there was seating. So we stepped out of there and asked to be seated, on the outside of that booth. But to Mika's point, it was the server's entrance in and out, and it was every time you open a door, the music was coming in.
Yeah.
So then we moved even further up to the front of the restaurant. You could still hear the music, and it was still loud, but I don't know. I don't know how you fix that. You know what I mean? Because we totally get people were really enjoying themselves with I think it was a salute to the rock and roll.
Oh yeah, it was rock and roll.
So
night.
maybe not our taste in music, but at the end of the day, those people had a great time out there. Not knocking you at all.
I think essentially those are our 3 ups and 3 downs. I would say main takeaway of the experience: fantastic property. If you are looking for that Caribbean, I'm on vacation, I want to exhale, I want to mentally decompress, but be visually stimulated. I think this continues to deliver on that experience.
Yeah, and overall, the beach views were great. They are very adamant about keeping the beach clean. They did have some seaweed during that time of the year, but you could see them with that large tractor collecting that all along the beach. As far as the resort itself, they would go end to end continuously. So that wasn't really a major
There was no
problem.
stench. Like the seaweed didn't impact our beach day at all. In the water, it did, just because I think from a feel, in the way that you felt, and you could still walk on outside of the areas that were more concentrated, but they did do a really good job of constantly maintaining and removing the seaweed that was there. However, I would say in May there was no seaweed.
No, it wasn't. It's the time of the year.
I mean, not May, excuse me, September. When we went September, there was no seaweed, and we recognized and we knew going in that was likely a thing. So again, not a deterrent, but if you do have a question about seaweed being present in that May, beginning of summer time frame, yes, it was there, but also yes, they were very diligent about taking care of that.
Right. And then one other thing, they do a great job of keeping track of their guests. Mika and I decided, let's go walk the beach.
Yes.
And we started walking down the beach, and there's security at the on the beach where I guess it hooks up to another resort. So if you cross that threshold, they'll want your name, room number, and you to sign that you essentially are checking out on the beach, leaving the beach area. And then when you come back, you sign back in and check back in. So
that was new.
That was new. Yeah,
I remember seeing that. I remember experiencing that in some of the other resorts that we've gone in our travels, and then I didn't seem to see that when we were there in September. So that is something that was new. That that they were definitely keeping track of their guests on the beach side.
The overall second time around. So would we say, would we go back a third time? Yeah.
Yes,
I think so.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, for us, please continue to chase the sun, sand, and sea.
And all the moments in between.